Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to go over a bit of an experiment I did. I guess it could be sort of seen as like an extender to the whole Go Next experiment that I was doing, where I was seeing what makes people give up, what makes people disconnect or kill themselves on hook, stand AFK, just overall stop playing the game. So for that experiment, I did a bunch of different builds. Some had no perks, some were annoying killers, some were not annoying killers at all. And I just kind of tried to find the difference between the rates at which people give up. So this can be seen as sort of the final step to that experiment. Even though I didn't really go into it trying to do that, I figured that experiment was actually over. So this day, I did a full-on lore-accurate Nemesis day. This was 6 hours straight of just only aggressively tunneling. The millisecond the person got off the hook, it doesn't matter if I was about to get it down, I would immediately drop whatever I was doing and go right back to the person that was on the hook, and then just tunnel them and kill them as quickly as I possibly could. Sort of like, Nemesis's birthright. There was this whole, UI I had, just all I was doing was aggressively tunneling, no matter what. I don't care if there's body blocks, I would only go for the person that just got unhooked. And this is not really a way I ever play. I find it to be boring, honestly. There's no macro gameplay involved whatsoever. But I'll go over that a little bit as well. But the results were fucking weird. It's so bizarre. I basically did double the games I did for the Go Next experiment, because I played for like 6 hours here, and I think in the Go Next experiment, each of the sets was about 4 hours, so not quite double, but close to double the amount of games. Considering I was winning pretty fast too, it probably was more like double the amount of games. And so the results in terms of people giving up, in 6 hours, 2 people gave up. It was the lowest give up rate by far. It was even lower than the no perk, no tunneling, no camping, no slugging, Wesker 12 hooking playstyle. That even had more disconnects or give ups than aggressively tunneling Nemesis. I don't understand what the hell these results mean. And maybe it's too small a sample size. It was probably like 30 games or something like that. But the fact that only 2 people gave up the entire time leads me to believe that people want to be tunneled or something like that. I don't understand these results whatsoever. Maybe it's sort of like the whole Nemesis tunneling and Leatherface face camping thing. It's like that one Human Resources meme where if a Chucky tunnels you, you're like, hello, Human Resources. But if a Nemesis tunnels you, it's sort of like oh, you're adorable. It's like a Bubba face camping you. It's like you can't even be mad at it. It's his natural state of being. That's just what they're built to do. And so the fact that we only had 2 people give up the entire time was just insane to me. I still cannot parse exactly why that's possible. It's maybe just, in terms of the sample size being too small of like 30 games, I just got 120 of the most Chad non-give up people ever. I guess that is possible. But I actually really don't know what to make of this conclusion in terms of people giving up. So that was one side of it. The other side I wanted to talk about was the actual effect of the tunneling. I did find that my killer games were immensely less stressful. And before I let you even come to that conclusion, it's like, oh yeah, because you're using the sweatiest tactics possible now, of course it's going to be less stressful. No, that's not even the case at all. In fact, my win rate was pretty much the exact same as if I had like my regular build on and went for 12 hooks. I think I lost like 1 or 2 games, and in that span of 30 games, I might lose 1 or 2 games playing normally as well. So my win rate was pretty much exactly the same. It wasn't any harder or easier to win. A lot of the time, someone might have randomized like off the record a decisive strike, and it was more annoying to even. It was a detriment to even tunnel that person, and I have to go through layers of defenses and stuff if I do that. So I didn't find it enormously more effective than my normal playstyle of trying to spread out hooks as much as possible. What I did find, though, is it was incredibly less stressful. And the reason for that is there are 2 components to playing Killer and Dead by Daylight. There's the micro play, which is chasing and anti-loop and knowing how to go around tiles and know how to play with your power and hit people before they can loop you for too long. That's the micro gameplay. The macro gameplay is the general game knowledge and sense that you get over years of playing Killer. It's by far the hardest skill to acquire. It's sort of that thing where you're watching an experienced Killer streamer and they will be chasing someone and they'll just go, okay, this guy's on this gen, that gen's at about 50%, that pallet's gone, so when I redirect him here, he's going to go down. They're basically just always knowing what's going on at all times in the map, or at least they have a very good idea of what's going on. That's macro gameplay. When you play like this brainless Nemesis roleplay, you just shut off the macro gameplay temporal lobe in your brain. You don't actually have to think about any of that whatsoever. All that matters is the micro gameplay. You just chase people. That is it. So I can see why that is an appealing playstyle for a lot of people, because it is less stressful. There's just less to think about. You don't have to think about, is that gen gonna pop? Ooh, have I used these pallets? Doesn't matter. All you're doing is chasing people. You don't have to worry about anything else other than the guy that you're currently chasing and killing him as quickly as possible. And, I got to admit, that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice having that lack of stress there. I have to say, though, it will make you a shitty killer. You will never actually be good at killer if that's all you're able to do, because you will never learn the macro gameplay thing. I don't care if you have 10,000 hours in the game. If that's all you're doing over and over again, you're still going to be shit at the game, because you're never going to learn the other half of playing killer, which is arguably more important than chasing people. A lot of tiles, it's just 50-50s and knowing how to run it properly and occasionally doing a moonwalk. It ain't super complicated. But the macro gameplay is extremely difficult to actually teach somebody, and that's something you can only learn by doing it over and over and over for years. That's the only way you can actually master doing that. So if you're just brainlessly tunneling people, you will never learn it, and you will never be good at killer. That's just how it is. So a lot of people that do say that the game is too hard or whatever, again, I understand. A lot of people don't play this game for a living. They play it super casually and stuff like that. But even if you play casually, 4 or 5 games a day or something like that, then if you play the correct way and learn macro gameplay, still within a couple of years, if you're still playing the game, you're going to be really good at it. I truly believe, if you play it casually, just a few games a day, as long as you play in the correct way to gain this knowledge, you will get good at it, like without a doubt. So that's why I'm like always less sympathetic to like killers that like just gig a tunnel, do one brainless strat, and then try to just like say that the game is imbalanced because of that. It's like, yeah, man, you're just learning the wrong things. Like being able to chase someone is good, and tunneling strategically at the right times is pretty smart. I will absolutely admit that given a good opportunity where someone's slugged, a gen's about to pop, and the chase is happening around this generator, and this guy's on death hook, yeah, tunneling in that scenario makes perfect sense, and that's totally fine. But a lot of people that do this, they don't know the difference. They just see unhook, go back, tunnel, brainless Nemesis. That type of tunneling is just bad. It's just not good. So that's basically what I learned here. I was, downing people pretty damn fast when I was tunneling them, but I wasn't performing any better than as if I was going for 12 hooks. So all that happened was people were having less fun, and I got the same exact result. So that's why I try to not tunnel, because I can get the same result usually while not having to do that, and I also continue to learn the game. Again, I know that's not going to apply to everybody, and if you only play a couple games a day and you don't really give a shit, that's fine. If you're just a casual player and you don't actually care about getting better, that's fine. But at the same time, you kind of have to stop complaining about the balance of the game then, because at that point, it literally is just, it's skill issue. And I know I'm not trying to be unsympathetic to people that don't have the time to play like all day and stuff like that. But you got to realize you're probably also going against people that don't have the time to play. So they're probably not very good as well. But, matchmaking is kind of crazy too. Anyway, I really just wanted to focus on today the fact that only 2 people give up. It was the lowest give up rate in the entire experiment, which makes no sense because I was being such a dick. And then also the games were very, very not stressful, like at all. And that's because it removed the whole macro gameplay element. So I can see it. I can see the allure. It's a very chill time. I felt more like I was playing Survivor than Killer at that point. So I get it, but man, it's boring too. Not being able to use my macro knowledge is boring as shit. So people ask me to do these kind of like Negascot streams a lot, where I just sort of, become evil and do all this stuff for a day. I used to do it like, a couple times a year, but I got so bored of it because it's fun for like an hour, and then it's just like, hell yeah. Then it's just like, I don't know. There's not much to it. Anyway, I just wanted to go over those experiments because I just found the results hilarious. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. God, look at that cat.